Hey guys, welcome to Bookmas Day 2. And in this video, we're going to be talking about my 2025 TBR. And there is a lot of books, but there's also a lot of series. I have to say, I'm not in the middle of a lot of series, but I want to start a lot of series. And I do hope that with these series that I read them all, not at once, but close together, because if you don't know, me reading the Caraval series and the Hawthorne, the Inheritance game series, I read them years in between, or a couple years, and I just didn't remember all that stuff. So hopefully, like the Hunger Games, I don't read them all in one sitting, but I read them closer together. So let's start off with talking about the series that I want to read. And we're going to start off with the Divergent series. And I've actually wanted to read this book for quite some time, or these series for quite some time. I've had these books for a little bit. And the reason why I really want to read them is because it's very popular. But I'm kind of scared because I hear very mixed reviews about these. And you don't hear this series be talked about a lot as you do the Hunger Games. But, and if you don't know, that's in the same exact time frame this was popular, but I do still want to read this book in the series. And I just hope to get them off my physical TBR. I do hope. But I do hope that I can read these one day and maybe watch the movies, which is interesting that with the Divergent that I've seen, they didn't finish the Divergent movies, because I think they ended either at this one or this one, because I've seen them on Netflix and all that stuff, but I think they ended at one of these two. I think it's a part one of this. Someone tell me why, where the end of a series, because in Harry Potter and the Hunger Games and this book, in I think Twilight as well, the last book is split into two movies, split into two parts. Is it just because there's so much that you cannot condense into one movie? Or is it just because you wanted to add longer? So if someone can please let me know that would be great. But we're going to start off with, I really want to read the Divergent series. Okay, the next series I really want to read is The Naturals. This one is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who wrote the Inheritance Games trilogy, or series. I don't really actually know what to call it, because there's more books. So, okay, here's the thing. It's a trilogy following Avery. That's her name, right? Her name's Avery. I cannot remember. But you have that series. Then you have the Brothers Hawthorne, and then the rest coming out. So is it more, is that a sequel? Is that something about the brothers? I think it's about the brothers. I don't know. But I really don't know if it's a trilogy still or something. But she wrote the Inheritance Game, the Inheritance Games, and everyone loved that. This one, everyone loved this series last year. And I did not read it because, number one, of the hype. And I know it's bad, but I don't read books when it's really hyped up, because I just feel like I'm not going to love it as much as they say I'm going to love it. But I really do want to read the series and stuff like that, because I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes' books. Her books are very fast paced, short chapters, and they're a good pick me up when I'm in a little bit of a book slump, or just not in that reading, or haven't finished a book in a while, or stuff like that. And I do hope to read this series as well. And they also said this is Criminal Minds or something like that. People are saying, or not Criminal Minds. I forget. I think it's Knives Out. Not Knives Out. Knives Out? There's a particular movie that everyone is telling or saying that these books are like. I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, this one is another kind of oldie one. But I really want to read the Immortal Instrument series. And I actually have the first four, and another book that just came out. I really, really want to get into this series and into Cassandra Clare's world and into writing and stuff, because it's fantasy, but I've always just wanted to read this particular series. I also do, can someone tell me the order onto which books I should read first from her? Or like, not read first, but like, I know that there's so many books in this world that are intertwined. So do I read the entire Mortal Instrument series first? Do I read one series first? Or do I just kind of like intertwine them? Or like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, do I read, I don't know, can just someone tell me the order into reading them and to reading them where I will enjoy them more? And stuff, because I know there's a particular reading order. I'm just not quite sure what that is. So please tell me that. But anyway, I do want to get down to the City of Bones. And yeah. Anyway, so I do want to read the City of Bones or the Immortal Instruments Cassandra Clare's writing. I really want to get into that. Then, this I've actually tried to read last year, but I want to read the Twilight series. This is another, again, oldie one, and I have not read it yet. I really want to read this book. Everyone loves it. My mom loves this book. Actually, okay, let me rephrase that. My mom likes the movies, which actually I think she watched the first movie right after I was born. I think so. I'll have to double check with her, but I think she watched the first movie when I was like born, like a newborn. But we have this, and then we also have the short life of Bear Tanner, or whatever. We have this like little novella thingy as well that goes along with this. And then also, I know that there's another one out there where they're white covers, and I think, is it in Edward's point of view? So can someone please let me know if that's something that like would be good to read, or something that you recommend, or if that's something to where you enjoy it more, or is that just something to where you're a diehard fan that you would like it? I don't know. So just, I want to ask that little question because I love getting guys' point of views, especially in like, I love guys' point of views. I don't know why, I just love getting them, not just like the girls. But I do hope to read this series next year. I also really want to read, and this series is the Shadow and Bone series. This series I've had for a while and I've been wanting to read. I'm just scared because, again, a lot of hype. It's just, I know they're really heavy on fantasy, which I know that's kind of weird because that's Divergent's fantasy, City of Bones is fantasy, but I don't know why these particular books of fantasy scare me. I'm not quite sure why they do, but they do. But I do hope that one day I can actually read them. Stuff. So I hope to read them this year, and it's a trilogy, so I think I can go through it pretty quick. So I also just say, is this a good habit? Because I'm in a habit of like buying the first book, but don't start it until I have the entire series. Is that good or bad? But anyway, I think out of these series that I have here, I think I really want to read, really want to read next year is Twilight. I really do. And in some of these, you actually might see in a reading blog of me reading the series. So stay tuned for those in 2025. But I think I really want to read Twilight. That's the book, I think. That's the series that I just really want to read this next year. And I hope to. I hope to get to all of them. I doubt it, but I hope to get to all of them. Now we're going to get into a little bit more series, but more like standalone books. So first, I really want to read these two. This is part of a trilogy. I don't have the third book yet, but this is Things We Never Got Over and Things We Hide from Life by Lucy Score. I've had these for a while and I've really wanted to read them. They are romances and they're actually standalone. So with romances, I think is really cool is that you can read them. Actually, that's false. Most of the romance series I love is that you can read them out of order. You can pick up a random book and not know that it's in part of a series, and you can go back without like spoiling something for yourself or figuring out something from yourself. And I love that so much about this book, about romances series. But these are a trilogy, and I've always wanted to read number one, a Lucy Score book. I also heard that her sister is starting to write romance as well. I'm not quite sure what her name is, but that's really cool that her sister is reading we're starting to write books as well. But I do hope to read this, and I do hope that I can get the third book in this particular series as well, to like finish it off and read it and like that. So that's like another series that I want to read, but it's high on my priority, but not really. Next I want to read is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This book is the second book in the Fourth Wing trilogy series. I know there's one more book coming out. I don't know if that's the last book in the series, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure on that. But I really want to read this to continue on with the world, continue on with this series. And I do know that I've heard so much about this book too, where people were so kind of disappointed in this book and stuff like that. Even though when I was buying it at Barnes & Noble's, the girl was like, because I was like, oh, she was like looking at like what I was buying, because I think I was buying Divine Rivals and this book, and I was buying other books, and she was like, oh my god, you need to read this, oh my gosh, like, she was like, do you have Fourth Wing? And I was like, yes. Have you read it? I was like, no. She's like, oh my god, you're smart getting this one, so that getting this one, then you read. Anyway, but she was like, but I think she like enjoyed it, because I said I've heard so much mixed reviews and no one really cares about it, or like doesn't really like it as they did the first one. But we'll see if that's with me, and I do hope that I can read this and remember what happened in Fourth Wing, because I read that in the summer. So we'll see, but I do hope to get to this book and then the last book. Probably not until 2026. But we're not going to talk about that. Then I want to read The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lamarnes. I really want to read this book, even though, again, this is a book that everyone is not really happy about, or they didn't really like about it, because I think it's in like, I don't know. All I know is it is in the three brothers. It's going to take together. It's in Garrison's, Jameson. Oh, it's in only Garrison Jameson's point of view. And I know people didn't really care about it, but we'll see if I actually do enjoy this and like this. And I might also as well be getting the two other books that are continuing, and I think with this one, which is the two other ones that I know I'll be getting, and be adding to my lovely physical TBR, and probably to my 2025 TBR. But again, this would probably be if I need to pick me up and stuff like that. Then these two are kind of like rereads. If you do not know, and if you have not been following along, I've only found so far this year one 5-star, and I still can't get over the book. I still love the book so much, and I love it so much. And that, of course, is If Only I Had Told Her by Lauren Allen. This book, you guys, I know no one, like a lot of people, like, there's so many mixed reviews on it, but this book is in Finney's point of view. In Jack's point of view, which is Finney's best friend in Autumn, and you just get to learn, like, you get to see Finney's point of view. And I do feel like I was kind of worried going into this book, especially not knowing that I was in 3 point of view, because I was like, oh gosh, it's going to be repetitive, it's like going to be in Finney's point of view, but it wasn't. You got some of that stuff, but you also got to learn that he loved her. You just got so much, and I love this book so much that I do hope I get to reread it this next year. I think I'm going to probably make this book a reread yearly. Like, I'm probably going to reread this book yearly because I love it so much. I love this book so much. I love Finney. He's like my best. Like, he's my top book boyfriend. Like, he is like the top. He's the best book boyfriend ever. And then we have this one, which is If He Had Been With Me, which is the first one. And this is in Autumn's point of view. And guys, look at the special edition. Like, look. I love him in a way I can't define. What? Guys, like, look. And then the soccer ball, the broken heart, the car. Guys, and this, I love this so much, and I cannot wait to reread this book. Definitely not this edition because there's no way I'm ruining it, but look at this images. Oh my god. Oh. Lauren Allen, I know you said this is the last, but I need a sequel to The Child. Please. Anyway, Next, we're going on to Dance of Thieves. This book is a book that, if you don't know, is like an OG kind of book talk book. I have not read it, and I'm on TBR. Also, again, it's fantasy. I don't know why. Fantasy, I like reading fantasy. I just get a little scared and intimidated by fantasy. But I hope this year I can read fantasy, and I can read a lot of fantasy. But I hope to get to Dance of Thieves, to this book, and to get like what the hype is about and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So I have had this book in this series for quite some time because I wanted to read Caraval first. And the reason why I wanted to read Caraval first is because everyone says you're going to love it, and that's the book that you really like. That's the series you need to start off with. So I did, and I enjoyed it, and I do hope that it makes me enjoy this book more and know this book more. I just cannot wait to go into the series and to continue on in that world, because I do love that world, and continue on. I don't know if actually it probably is about the same exact characters. I'm not actually quite sure, but I cannot wait to go in and read this. And by the way, these covers are stunning. Like these are so cute covers. Anyway, this next book, I am kind of scared because not only is it a very popular book, but I recommended it to my dad before actually reading it because of what I heard. And the reason why was because when I bought it, I said, oh my gosh, I can't wait to read this because this is apparently Hunger Games in space. So my dad kind of listened to it on audiobook, and he didn't like it. And that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I really want to read it, and I hope that maybe because I'm going to read like this copy of it, like the physical copy, it's actually be good. And I bet my dad's probably, maybe if I really do enjoy it, maybe give it a chance, like reading this copy and borrowing this copy. But I don't know. We'll see if he does. We'll see what he does. But I also do hope that I like it and I enjoy it like everyone else does. But we'll see. And again, I don't need to be like everyone else, but I just hope that I can enjoy this book. Okay. This one is a book that's also very intrigued me, and that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This one's actually been a book that was popular last year. Everyone read it, and I think this is about two friends who created this gaming kind of thing. And that, I think, what intrigued me about it was because it's two friends gaming, or like creating this gaming world, which I do think my dad also, I haven't even read it, but my dad likes gaming, so maybe he'll like it. I don't know. I'll probably have to read it, and if I rave about it a lot, if I like it, I don't know. We'll see. Alright. Now, let's go on to my last stack, which is over here. This is my last stack. And first we have, so not all of these, but I have a lot of Lisa Jackson books. And I really, right here, I just want to read one of them. Oh, okay. So, I know that she was, I really want to read one of these, maybe two of these. These are Lisa Jackson. I've had these for a while. I remember, so we used to go to a lot of the book or library sales and stuff like that, where you get a bag and you get to fill it for $8. My dad's annoyed because I always grabbed books that I knew then I was never going to read them. I don't know why I grabbed it, but in that stack, I grabbed a lot of James Patterson, and I grabbed a lot of Lisa Jackson books. And that's why I have these. And I do really want to read her, and I do want to see if she has a really good writer. She's in the horror thriller genre, I think. Don't call me on that, but I think she is. It sounds like she is. I do hope that I really want to read one of these. I don't know which of these sounds more to me, or which ones I really, really want to read. I'm not sure on that. But we'll see. I hope to read those books. The next book is by Lynn Painter, and that's The Do-Over. I've had this book for a while. I haven't read it yet. And this is a Valentine's Day book. It's a Valentine's Day one. It's a Valentine's Day one. This is one, what was it? But this one is where she repeats Valentine's Day over and over and over again. I love Lynn Painter. She has such cute the romances are so cute and stuff, and I love them so much. So I do hope to actually read this book this year, or not this year, next year. And I really do hope I can get to this book and finally read this book. I'm sad because it looks like Lynn Painter might not be releasing a young adult book next year. Maybe she is, but I'm not quite sure about that because I was trying to see and I wasn't quite sure. Doesn't. Then this one, I want to read The 7-Year Slip. This one is one that, again, everyone loves. There's also another book by this author that's called, what's it called? I think Dead something. Oh, wait, where is that? It's The Dead Romantics. And I want to read that one, which I don't have, but I do really want to read this one. This one is where she's in an apartment and like she goes back sometimes, I think, or, like goes back 7 years and like loves this guy that I'm not quite sure. We'll see if I do want to read, but I really want to read this book. I want to read this for a while, honestly, and I just hope that I just hope that I like it and I can get to it. The next two are biographies or autobiographies or memoirs, autobiographies. I'm not quite sure in that. I don't know what really they're classified as, but I normally don't read that genre. And I mean, these two, you might guess why, but we'll see. So we have The Rock Says. This one is from WWE or WCF. I think that's what it's called, right? WCF? I think that's what WWE is called for WWE. But WCF, I think. WCF, right? WCW? WCF. My dad's probably watching this going, oh my god, Alexis is me. He's probably getting annoyed with me, but it was called something, and he was a wrestler. So if you didn't know, The Rock was a wrestler before he was an actor. And I loved him in wrestling before I loved him in acting. And I love wrestling, which is a very fun fact about me, is I do care about wrestling. I do have to say I like the older ones more. Just because that was kind of like when I grew up, when I really did enjoy it, like the Nikki Bella, the Brie Bella, Natalia, and all that other stuff. I love that so much. And The Rock Says is kind of like part of where I liked it and stuff. So, fun fact also about me is I wanted to be a wrestler before, like when I grew up. Now I kind of want to be an actor-ish. An actor, that's where I want to be, okay? I want to be an actor, but I also wanted to be a wrestler so bad, but this book, I cannot wait to read. It's The Rock Says. And I know my dad has so many more, like, wrestlers. Oh, wait, do I have them? Like, where are they? Oh, my God. Okay, I don't know why I forgot or didn't, like, say about this book, but we also have Nikki and Brie Bella. I want to read this book so bad. I've had this for so long, and only recently I asked my dad and he said I can read it. So I cannot wait, because I have to say my favorite women wrestler are Nikki and Brie Bella. I love them so much. They're so good. Anyway, and also I do that. This is a signed copy. Okay. But I cannot wait, and I hope to also read this. So another book that we added on. But this one I'm so excited. I actually think of two. I don't know where it went because it's not here. But I don't know where it went. I know I have two of these. Did I give it to one to my dad? There's no way I gave one to my dad. My dad probably already had one. Because I know we bought a regular one. And then we bought this. Side copy. Okay. Then we have, not a wrestler, an actor, Matthew Perry's. Now, I want to read this book because it's Matthew Perry, it's Friends, he played Chandler, and I love Friends. And I cannot wait to read this book and to really read about and see really his life, what he's going through, because I know my mom read this. And I just want to read this. So, I hope to read that. Okay. This next book is kind of big, and that is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. This one is the JFK assassination. Now, everyone loves this. I haven't put this off because of the bigness of it. I also have to say, I love Stephen King so much, and I really want to read it. Like, it is one of my favorite Stephen King movies of all time. Like, that was my first, I would say that was my first ever really horror movie that I watched, and I thought I was being sneaky with it. I wasn't. But I love it. I love it so much, and I really want to read that book. But we also have this book that I hope to just read one of these days in this year. But problem is I do know it's probably going to take me a while to read this book, because I think this one's actually over 1,000 pages. Because I know, oh, it's actually not. It's over, oh, I thought it was over 1,000 pages. It's actually 849 pages. Did not know that. But, okay, but I do want to read it. It is like 1,000. That's over 1,000 pages. I know that for sure. But I really do want to read this book. I also do know, because everyone likes this book. Everyone loves Stephen King and stuff. And I love Stephen King. Honestly, I love horror. I love anything horror, anything Stephen King related. I love him so much. But I do hope to read this one. And I also do hope to get to read it next year as well. And the next book is another Stephen King book. And this is Pet Sematary. I really want to read this book because I just want to read it, Stephen King. I really hope one day, I hope that one day I can read everything or a majority of his work. I do really hope to read a lot of Stephen King's books. I love Stephen King. He's one of my favorite. I mean, so many of his movies are so good. I love him so, he's such an amazing author. Okay, I gotta explain this. He is a good author. He's an amazing author. I love him. I don't know, I love Stephen King. I love horror. I love his work. I love it. I love it. Okay, that's all I just have to say. I love it. So, I hope to read the Pet Sematary. Alright, now we have The Cruel Prince. This one I've been putting off because I've heard so many mixed reviews with this book. And this is like an OG book talk book, but I just have heard so many mixed reviews, and I just don't know if it really is that good. Not that good. I just don't know. I just have heard so many mixed reviews, so that's kind of why I've had this on my TBR for so long, and that's probably why I've put it off so much. But I do hope to get to read this book, this series, this trilogy, this year. Next year. But I don't know. Well, honestly, I hope to, but I don't really know if that's really going to happen. This one I have on my TBR, but I hope to read it. It's not one of those books that I'm going for and wanting to read. Then we have Float. This book is actually, I think, turning into a movie here soon, so not really why I want to read it. I wanted to read this book because everyone loves it, and I also do hope that I love it too. It's also probably, it says it's a Wattpad book. This author you see through, so Kate, she started this book when she was 16 and finished it, and apparently you get to see her writing evolve throughout this entire book, so I do hope that I enjoyed it. I just want to read it, and also it would be a cute little summer read. So we have Dark Matter. This book I want to read because it sounds intriguing, the cover is intriguing. I just want to read it. Okay. Next we have another memoir. Actually, this might be an autobiography. I'm not quite sure what this is, but this is a Walt Disney thing. And on the 100th year anniversary of Disney, they had this book out, and I think this is basically just all of... So this is a biography that tells the story of Walt Disney's life. So this is basically just his life and all that stuff. And I just can't wait to read it. I love Disney so much. And you know what's really crazy about me is Walt Disney, this guy right here, created a thing to where everyone knows what Disney is. Everyone knows who Mickey and Minnie is. Everyone has probably watched a Disney movie once in their life. And everyone loves Disney. Everyone's probably, okay. So many people have been to Disneyland, Disney World, and it's just something that's crazy that he created such a big thing that has lasted for so many years that everyone loves. Everyone knows of it. Everyone knows what Disney is. Everyone knows Disney and the Disney World. It's just crazy that everyone knows. To me, that's just really crazy to me that someone can create something to everyone knows what it is. Anyway, now we have Your Fault. This is by Mercedes Ron, and I read My Fault this year. I loved My Fault, and this is the second book in it. I love that series. I love the book. I don't care. No, I'd be a stepbrother trope. I do not care. It was so good that I just need this. I just need to read it. It was really good, and I hope this book gets better. And I hope as the series goes on, because it's a trilogy, I hope it gets better. I loved it so much. All right, now we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Yes, this book I've had on my TBR for a while, and yes, this is a book that has been a TikTok famous book a couple years ago. So I've not read it. Don't know why I have not read it. I'm not really scared to read this book. It's a thriller. I love thrillers. I don't know why. I just have not picked this book up. So I hope to. Then the last book is Divine Rivals. This is, again, a book that I just really want to read. Everyone loves it. I just really want to read it. And again, I think it's also one of those things where everyone loves it, so I'm kind of scared to read it. And like, am I going to love it? See, I'm going to break the loop. Am I going to break the cycle? I'm probably not going to, but I'm just curious to see what the hype's about, and I just really want to read it this year. But anyway, that is my very ambiguous 2025 TBR. I do think the ones that I hope to read every one of them, or just a lot of them. So stay tuned for the end of 2025 to see if I read a lot of them, majority of them, or if I read any of them, because we don't know. I have so many books as well. My goal is also next year not to buy a lot of books. Actually, this year, I do have to say, I was really good, because I know last year I was buying books. I was buying so many books, honestly. Like, every weekend I bought a book. And this year, I have not bought that many books. And I've been saving it for, because most of the books I want are newer releases or coming out, or just hardcover. So I'm just waiting for the Barnes & Noble's 50% off sale to buy those books, which stay tuned, because that's not going to be a Bookmas video, but that will be a video coming probably next year. But you'll see me come book shopping with me. Also stay tuned, because next year I also want to redo my bookshelves, and only that. Also stay tuned, because I'm going to go over my physical TBR. So you're going to see most of these books again, but I do hope that you're going to see my physical TBR. But just stay tuned to see if I read any of these books on my 2025 TBR. And I think the books that I hope to read, a lot of these series. I hope to start these series, and I hope that I can actually read these series a lot and not just like space them out within a year. I just hope that I can do these books. Yeah, so that is it for today's video, and that is it for Bookmas Day 2. Stay tuned for tomorrow and for the next 10 days, because you'll be seeing more of me and more books. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a good night, good day, wherever you are, and goodbye.